Soul Twin Audios. Stories created solely with the vintage soul in mind.
OTRTSTA, what story can I connect you with today?
I don't really need a story. I just wanted information.
Very well. Tune your radio dial to anchor.fm/Soul Twin Audios. That's SOLE.
Soul Twin Talk, a behind-the-scenes series which features an in-depth look at my productions, interviews with audio drama collaborators and enthusiasts, reviews, and promos from other companies. This is Rachel Pulliam, creator of Soul Twin Audios and series such as Old Time Radio Theater, Patchwork Classics, and Salubrious Falls. Today is Sunday, June 26, 2022, and this is our pilot episode for my brand new series called Soul Twin Talk. Rather than wing everything and risk rambling on and on, I'm going to try and stick with the same format for each episode. Behind the scenes, upcoming previews, and what's next? Every summer, Jack Ward over at the Mutual Audio Network and the Sonic Society produces his series called The Sonic Summerstock Playhouse, which features old-time radio recreations from other companies, along with adaptations of stories. Now, I have participated in this for several years off and on, and probably since its inception. This year, Soul Twin Audios is going all in and producing 4 audio plays, 2 of which are my own adaptations for a brand new series I came up with called Patchwork Classics. Now, this is an anthology of stories from the public domain. I was lucky enough to get Sharon Grunwald to be my host for it. Without further ado, here are 2 trailers for the first 2 episodes from that series. The Turn of the Screw and Ring Once for Death.
What might I say if my love comes to visit? What might I say if his presence is felt? What might I say do I bid him to enter? Soul housed again, within flesh he once dwelt.
They want to get to them. But for what? For the love of all the evil that in those dreadful days the pair put into them, and to ply them with that evil still, to keep up the work of demons, is what brings the others back.
Soul Twin Audios presents Patchwork Classics, bringing you adaptations from the public domain. The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, adapted by Rachel Pulliam.
Coming soon to Soul Twin Audios.
We must buy something. For a 20th anniversary present for me. Perhaps a bell?
Good evening. May I show you something?
We think we want a bell, but we're not quite sure.
A bell carved out of crystal. And rose crystal at that. Oh, what could be more perfect? A rose crystal wedding present and a rose crystal anniversary present.
I don't think you'll want that.
The other 2 episodes are recreations from my favorite old-time radio series, Suspense. You'll hear Pete Lutz and Rhiannon McAfee in Fugue in C minor. This is another one of those stories by Lucille Fletcher, who's one of my favorite playwrights from Suspense. And for the first time, you'll all get to hear a very special lost episode from Suspense, Rope. Yes, that Rope from Alfred Hitchcock. But it's not based on the film, it's based on the Patrick Hamilton play. And that's going to star Justin Fife, Theodore Perez, Adam Blanford, and Rachel Schumacher. I cannot wait for you guys to hear this one.
My own children believe that I am a murderer.
Theodore, you're making them both sick.
Do I look like a murderer, Amanda? Do I?
No.
There it is again. It's Mama.
Of course, using this rope was an absolute stroke of genius. Much neater that way. Stainless, no telltale mementos.
After all 4 episodes premiere over at the Mutual Audio Network, I will then officially release them over here on the Anchor site. And of course, I always have a slate of other productions for old-time radio theater and Patchwork Classics, which hopefully I get to produce some of those before 2023. However, the next several productions you'll hear come from my original world, Salubrious Falls. Now, those of you who have worked with me before or have auditioned for me, you've been hearing me talk about Salubrious Falls for a long while now. But now I'm gearing up for several series that tie in together, starting with Book 1, Phobias Unlimited, and Tierney's Tales of Terror, which is a horror anthology of Twilight Zone-like stories from various authors. You'll also finally get to hear A Tale of Tierney, my audio play I entered in the MTB audio drama scriptwriting competition created by Will Anderson, which won first place in 2020. And now, for your listening pleasure, here is the opening scene from A Tale of Tierney, starring John Bell as Vincent Tierney, also featuring Pete Lutz and Glenn Haskell. I'm also very grateful to Ross Bernhardt, who composes the music for my productions, and you'll get to hear some of that music in this opening scene, and also Gina Moravec, who was so nice to create original sound foley for me. Without further ado, Scene 1 of A Tale of Tierney.
And that concludes yet another nightmare of Tierney's Tales of Terror. I'm your host, Vincent Tierney, daring you to have pleasant dreams. Until next time.
And you're off the air.
Oh, now that episode is going to turn into a classic. Just you wait and see. Evocative storytelling, blood-curdling screams, and a plot twist I know the listeners didn't hear coming.
Yeah.
Hey, what's eating you? You're not usually this quiet.
Look, Vinny, It's
the ratings, isn't it? I knew we should have featured Kim Novak in The Egyptian Curse. Now let's not panic, Emerson. I'm sure Cecil will give us until the end of the quarter to fix this. In the meantime, I'll give Marty a call and see who he can scrounge up. Maybe we'll catch a break and get William Holden, or better yet, John Wayne. Imagine one of my tales taking place in the Old West.
Vincent, it's not the ratings. I'm sorry, but Cecil decided to pull Tierney's Tales from the lineup. It's nothing personal, but...
But what? Cecil decides my show isn't good enough for him? Tell that to the millions of listeners who will stand outside the station in protest.
Not exactly millions, Vinny.
And what did he find to replace me? One of those silly housewife melodramas?
Cecil promised to pay you until the end of the quarter. I know this is a nasty blow, but you'll bounce back from this.
Couldn't it be a mistake? He can't do that to someone who's given him 10 years of dedication and talent. This is a test of my loyalty.
You won't have to worry about gathering your things. I'll bring them to you later on in the week. Vinny, you should leave now.
Sandra's out in the car waiting for me. You know, I'm a lucky man, Emerson. Not every guy can say he's happy in his marriage and his career. Would you hand me my cane, Emerson? Thanks.
I hope there's no hard feelings between us.
Of course not. But I do think I'll give Cecil a call.
There's no need to call him. Let me handle it.
All right, Emerson. But tell him from me that his little joke has worn thin.
Here, I'll get the door for you.
Emerson?
Yeah, it's me.
Is it done?
I told him.
Good. And, how'd he take it?
About how you'd expect. Next time, keep me out of it.
Watch yourself, Emerson. Now, when you go on the air, don't forget to tell the listeners.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to make the announcement.
It's time for Vintage Spotlights. Normally, this is the part of the program where I'd have a guest speaker on, either someone who has worked with me directly or someone who runs their own audio drama company. But, given that this is the pilot episode, I'd like to take a walk down memory lane and reminisce about a dear friend and audio drama creator, enthusiast, who is sadly no longer with us. I first met Viktor Aurelius when I was starting out on the audio drama scene. He and I both belonged to a Yahoo group for audio dramas, and you could contact people within that group and see if they wanted to participate in your project. He auditioned for my role of the Dark Prince in my Strange Paradise reboot continuation, and I'll never forget he was so amused by my description of the character. Yes, that Dark Prince! And of course I gave him the role, and we ended up collaborating on other projects together. In the beginning of my time as an audio drama producer, I didn't always feel confident in what I was doing. But Vic was always there. He always had my back. So today I'm going to share with you a couple of clips from an old company I co-ran with Chris Morgan called Twisted Minds Theater. Chris wrote both of these plays. Now, keep in mind, when this was going on, I was still learning how to clean recordings, and so it doesn't sound, I don't think it sounds as good as what I do now. So keep that in mind, but forget about all of that and just listen to Victor. You'll hear him first in a script called Crush. Vic played the principal, Mr. Hayes, and I played a teenage girl called Laurel Ann. You'll also hear the late, great Jeff Niles in the role of Detective Lynn. And I'll definitely have to speak about Jeff in another episode. The second clip you'll hear is from The Cursed Play. Vic plays this devilish role called Mr. Friendly, and I play the villainous actress Laura Burns.
As some of you no doubt have heard, there was a tragic accident in the school parking lot last night. Sherry Carson passed away as a result of that accident. Sherry Carson was a junior, and we joined her friends, family, and fellow students in this time of sadness. We ask that you observe a moment of silence for Sherry. Grief counseling is available through the guidance office. Just speak with your counselor or teacher, and we'll see that you get to talk to someone. Also, please note that the police will be here to investigate what happened, and we'll have the school parking lot closed off. So we ask that you please ride the bus or have a parent drop you off. Please let your teacher know if you will have a problem getting to school. The police will be conducting interviews with students this week to find out more about Sherry. We ask that you cooperate with them. Thank you, and may God bless us. That is everyone you asked for, Detective Lynn, except Linda Jones herself.
Officer Miller is at the Jones house now talking to her. Apparently she laid out a flash today. Broken heart blues, I guess. Well, looks like alibis for all the kids check out. Is there anyone else to see Mr. Hayes?
There is one other child. She's a member of what the girls call the Tiger Pit. It's a clique of aggressive and bossy girls that have their own table in the lunchroom. This girl was more on the periphery, but she did witness the fight between Linda Jones and Jack Lawson. I'll get her. She's just outside. Come on in, Laurel Ann. I promise you're not in trouble.
Hi, Laurel Ann. I'm Detective Lynn.
Hi.
Sorry to take you out of class, but I have some important questions.
I don't really know anything. They just let me sit at their table. I promise I didn't do anything.
Hey, it's okay. I just want to ask you what the fight yesterday between Linda and Jack was. What was it about?
They were fighting because Jack dumped her and was going to go out with Sherry.
Why would he do that?
Well, Sherry has a reputation, you know, for doing it with a lot of guys.
You mean sex?
Yes.
Do you know anyone who'd want to hurt Sherry?
No, not really. I mean, we all have a crush on Jack Lawson, but I don't know that anyone would have wanted to kill her. Honest.
And then what did you plan to do with it? I apologize for not knocking, but I did say I would be dropping by. Did you think that we did not know what was occurring here? I have been in this business too long not to recognize false dealers and murderers.
You have no proof, none of you.
Who said anything about proof?
You try to call the cops. I'll...
Who said anything about the police?
But then what?
You won't be receiving any funding from my group. I came to tell you that I had spoken briefly by telephone with Mr. Burns, and he told me he wasn't interested in my offer. A noble and friendly man. Unlike you, who obviously saw fit to remove him when you found out he might leave you behind.
So what if I did? He never had the courage to make a move. Hemmed and hawed. Oh, what about the poor theater? To hell with the theater.
Good choice of words. Now that you have lost everything, why don't you drop the gun and turn yourself in?
Like hell. I'll kill you all.
I think not. Do you not feel the others around you? Do you not sense the darkness in this place? Someone aroused the curse, wetted it with blood. Spirits demand payment.
Viktor Aurelius was my inspiration as I wrote A Tale of Tierney. Both Jeff and he were strong mentors for me and never gave up on me when I wanted to give up on myself sometimes. So for this last clip, I'm going to share with you Viktor's audition as the Dark Prince. Initially, I wasn't going to recast that role when I picked the series back up, but I know that Vic would have wanted me to continue creating audio dramas, and he wouldn't mind if I recast the role, especially if it's going to help continue the story in a way that I want to tell it. When I bring back Strange Paradise Reborn to Soul Twin Audios, in every episode you'll hear a dedication to Victor's memory. Vic, I'll never forget you.
Well, well, Monsieur le Comte, or is it Julian Desmond now? I never understood your need for the masquerade, but then you mortals are so fond of manipulation. But never mind, we are not here to discuss you yet. The prodigal servant has returned to me. Go and wait with her. Give her comfort, if you can.
A Gothic Monochrome review. I thought it would be fun to talk about the very first episode of the original Strange Paradise Gothic serial. It's one of those shows you either love it or people think you're insane for liking it, and they think that the people who created it are even more insane. Fans of that first Gothic soap, Dark Shadows, often dismiss it and accuse it of being a ripoff. However, I have to disagree. Let me give you the highlights. Jean-Paul Desmond lives on an isolated island called Meljardin, in a big, dark, creepy mansion. He has a housekeeper who strongly resembles Mrs. Danvers from Rebecca, but that's where the resemblance ends because the housekeeper, Raxel, is a voodoo priestess and she's there to protect the family. Or is she? The scene opens as Jean-Paul ascends a staircase carrying the dead body of his beloved wife who has just died in childbirth. His plan is to have her cryogenically frozen, because he's rich and he can afford to do that kind of thing, against the protestations of Raxel, the mute servant Quito, who I swear to you looks like Tor Johnson, and Dr. Mencken, who you probably shouldn't get attached to because he's only in that one episode. But on top of that, you have the portrait of the ancestor, dead for 300 years, Jacques Eloi de Monde. Now, this guy totally resembles Jean-Paul Desmond. He also sounds like him, and he's played by the same actor, Colin Fox. And like all things Gothic, Jacques has a nefarious plan to take over Jean-Paul's body, again, much to Raxel's chagrin. In the episode, you'll also meet Dr. Allison Carr, her also sort of kind of fiance, Dan Forrest, and both of them are worried and trying to get in touch with Jean-Paul and his wife, Erica. And Allison is also Erica's sister, you later find out. And neither one of them, of course, knows that Erica has passed away. Because Jean-Paul, kind of like Barnabas, doesn't have a phone on the island. The episode ends with Jean-Paul making a deal with Jacques to restore his wife to him, as long as Jean-Paul agrees to allow Jacques to occasionally, whenever he feels like it, possess Jean-Paul Desmond. So, see? There's some differences there, fans of Dark Shadows. At any rate, I love this series, and I can't wait to share my reboot continuation with you guys. As I always tell people, it's going to be epic.
Erica, my beloved, I'll make you live again.
There are forces here, both ancient and evil, that you must not tempt to rise.
I have found the way.
Dare to fly in the face of God?
On this island, I am God. Find me.
It's the cult hit TV series, Strange Paradise. Tonight on Drive-In Classics.
A study in audio. I may have mentioned previously that my favorite old-time radio series is Suspense. Over at OTRTSTA, you'll often hear recreations from that show, including the very first one I produced for Soul Twin Audios, Short Order. I absolutely fell in love with this episode. For me, it's the right amount of concern for the protagonist, and it's very good at keeping me guessing. Or, initially when I first heard the episode. Very good at keeping me guessing. In the original episode, you'll hear Joseph Kearns as Mr. Bailey. Now, most of you know that Joseph Kearns played the Man in Black, aka the host of Suspense, for many, many, many years. And in addition to that, he played Old Mr. Wilson from Dennis the Menace. Good stuff. So in this episode, Joseph Kearns, as Mr. Bailey, runs a very popular diner. He's just hired himself a new short-order cook. Things are going really well for them until a mysterious, disfigured stranger shows up and threatens to destroy their business. I can't give any more away than that, but you'll just have to listen to the episode. Go find it on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you like to listen to those old-time radio shows and just give it a listen. I think it's very underrated. And it's just wonderful. And I really hope you'll give my recreation a listen as well. It obviously doesn't have Joseph Kearns, but we've got someone that's equally as good, in my opinion, Joseph Stofko as Mr. Bailey.
Coming soon to Soul Twin Audios.
You seem to get the business. Of course, you got a terrific location.
People come here to eat, and I see that they get to.
Hamburger and coffee.
Did you see that man's face? It's enough to haunt your dreams.
Kinda made you nervous, didn't he, Mr. Bailey?
Short Order, starring Joe Stofko, Skyman, and Robin Robbins. A remarkable tale of suspense.
Rachel Pulliam brings you old-time radio theater for Soul Twin Audios. Stories created solely with the vintage soul in mind. Look for us at anchor.fm/Soul Twin Audios. That's SOLE Twin Audios.
And now, your promos.
If you like all things spooky, then check out Espooky Tales, hosted by us, Christina
and MJ, where we talk about all things spooky, like paranormal stories, haunted places, myths, and legends,
with a focus on Latin America.
There are new episodes every Friday.
Listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts, as well as at spookytales.com. Stay spooky.
Anna, Kat, and Trevor are a normal married couple.
Ta-da!
Cake. You brought me cake. A sorry I made out with Madison, even though I didn't, cake.
I'll take it back to the kitchen.
Trevor?
Yes?
Leave the cake.
Normal, except for this.
During the day, I'm Anna Cat Walker.
Wearing?
Right. And at night, I am Amazing Woman.
So you're serious?
Trevor, I really am Amazing Woman. And I really have to go.
Holy crap! I married Amazing Woman!
My Amazing Woman, facing the missteps of marriage, the foibles of friends, and the voices of villainy.
Protect it. I'm here to steal it.
My Amazing Woman, your romantic superhero action comedy audio play on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or almost anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Hey, Daddy-O.
Space. The final frontier.
That's it. That's as fast as she'll go.
Distance of the wave.
10,000 kilometers and closing.
A gigantic sphere just appeared the moment we crossed into it.
And what's that glowing orb at the center?
It's a star, Captain.
We're inside a Dyson sphere.
This is Captain Iota Uhura, calling the other starship Excelsior.
These are the voyages of the... Oh, who am I kidding?
Can't you see you just walked into a trap?
We use an ancient gateway to explore the farthest reaches of the galaxy.
Helm, all stop! Turn and
Too
fight!
late. Gateway transition in 3, 2, 1!
So defend yourself, for I shall feed.
Who then? Who killed you all?
The dark! Machines in the dark!
Machines in the dark. The Borg.
That's the secret my unit has been guarding, Cadet. Not another invasion, but the promise of one.
Our assignment is to find out what we can and come back alive. The rest is rhetoric.
The thing about saber rattling is that there's no good way to stop it until somebody pulls a saber out.
We need the brave. We need the brilliant, or the Federation will fail.
So, history never forgets the name. Excelsior. Or the name Chekhov.
All hands, this is the captain.
2, 1.
Hit it!
Starship Excelsior, a Star Trek fan production at starshipexcelsior.com or anywhere good podcasts are found.
Attention shoppers. Have you come for something in particular or just browsing? We have a wide array of gardening supplies, a nice sharp pair of shears for your pruning needs. A good sturdy shovel is always useful to bury things. Something from our hardware department, perhaps a new power tool. Or do you just need to pick up some groceries? Our deli counter has the freshest meats. Yes, we have all your essentials. If it's a bargain you're looking for, we're always slashing the prices. Come on in and peruse. Make yourself at home. And welcome to the Horror Shop. Season 2 is coming in 2022, featuring an all-new storefront with a shopkeeper and his new employees to guide you on your journey into the dark. With all new tales of torment to terrify you, disturb you, and unnerve you. The entire Season 1 is now available to satisfy all your horror cravings. Check out HorrorShopRadio.com or wherever you get your podcasts to listen.
Hello, fiends! This is Cadavra Quivering. I'm the host of an all-new horror series named after the place where I live, the Cellar. In each episode, I open my great big book and select a story that's certain to chill you. So watch for The Cellar, coming soon from the creator of Pulpery Theater, Pete Lutz. In the meantime, don't take candy from stranglers.
Launching in March on the all-new MutualAudioNetwork.com.
About a year ago, everything changed. If you're a survivor, then that means there's a chance that we're still alive, and if you're listening to this, can contact me on the frequency 14.060. I'm not sure if you've been told the story of what happened, but suddenly the world was devastated by abnormal weather conditions. But by far the most devastating was the eruption of several of the world's supervolcanoes. The ash blew into the sky, not only plunging us into a continuous cold, but leaving the world blanketed in darkness. Sit back and let me tell you the story of what came out of the ashes.
Out of the Ashes is a epic, dark, modern fantasy podcast. Available now on your favorite podcatcher of choice. You can also visit us at outoftheashespodcast.com.
Madison is on the air.
What happens when 20-something Madison is zapped into old-time radio shows?
The last thing I remember was working on my makeup blog.
No technology.
Your technology is so old, the only thing I recognize on my desk are the pens.
No Starbucks.
I haven't had a mocha latte in months.
And no one is PC.
You don't think a woman could cloud men's minds? You think men's minds are all that complicated? It's mostly just beer and video games in there.
Madison on the Air serves to highlight the way we were and the way we are today, with original radio drama scripts adapted to include the modern-day Madison as she joins famous characters from radio's past.
Saint?
Simon.
Whatever. Madison Standish.
Give me that phone.
Johnny Dollar. My partner's Madison Standish.
Hi.
My name's Friday.
Kato! This is the Green Hornet. Really digging Dracula's OG goth style. What if I killed frickin' Sherlock Holmes?
And many more. Visit us on the web at madisonontheair.com
or find us pretty much any place podcasts can be found.
The world at war. 2 lives in the balance. Who will live to see another day? The leader of the free world, or a man falsely accused of treason? In this new dramatic audio series, A Date with Death, Helen Meeker has to make that choice, and time is running out. Assigned to exposing an espionage ring operating on American and British soil, Helen must outwit bank robbers, avoid booby traps, and even have dinner with a dead man. When the date with death is over, who's picking up the check? Ace Collins' best-selling World War II novella, A Date with Death, comes to life in this production by the Long Highway Players. Available on Acast and coming soon to a podcast feed near you, A Date with Death is a proud member of the That's Not Canon podcast network.
Okay, 1, 2... Mission Control gave me a USB drive, which I put in the computer slot and type out the title, Manifest 64. Dim red light started to appear in the darkness. Something is inside the facility. I know of the disappearances, the abductions. If the victims are located here... Well, I screwed up. For the wicked, it seems.
There are very little things that scare me nowadays. But
I've always been terrified of the water.
Something's got me! Jack!
Good afternoon. I'm Detective Sergeant...
Jack Sherwood. After all these years.
Marilyn Murphy.
Jess Murphy, please.
What are you doing here?
Something tells me you think there's more to this investigation.
You're looking for... monsters?
I will warn you, it can get a little dangerous. Creatures even I have yet to encounter.
Can't all be real. Can it? What secrets are below the waves?
Do you trust me?
I haven't seen you in 20 years. Of course I can't trust you.
I'm not gonna let something happen to you. Jack!
What are we diving into?
Monsters, cryptids, the third kind. These creatures are real.
Where do we go now?
Wherever the monsters call, I guess.
Hello, may I ask what this is all about?
It's complicated. Murphy, a new audio drama, coming soon.
You know, this reminds me of a creepy story I read online the other night.
That's weird. How'd it come back?
Maybe it preys on those that are desperate?
What are you doing? Stop! Alex, stop!
What is your desire?
Quiet the voices. Stop them screaming.
Any wish? Any dream? You need only ask, and I will make it happen. Welcome to Valor.
Welcome to Classic Radio Roadshow. Classic Radio Roadshow recreates the most popular radio programs that ruled the airways for 4 decades. All America would sit in front of their radios the way we now sit in front of our TVs. Classic Radio Roadshow brings live actors, music, and sound effects right to your location. At Classic Radio Roadshow, we say, come, see with your ears. Classic Radio Roadshow has performed at art centers, retirement communities, churches, and libraries. A Classic Radio Roadshow event will delight your private audience or prove a powerful draw as a fundraising event, expanding the awareness of your group in your community. If you'd like to learn more about booking a performance, please contact Artistic Director Dwayne Knock at 732-513-8234 or by emailing classicradioroadshow@gmail.com. Thanks for listening with your ears.
That concludes our very first episode of Soul Twin Talk. Be good to yourselves, and always remember,
I can do anything. I can reach any goal today. I can do what I want. I can be what I want to be.
if you'd like to appear on my show, have a promo, or want to request a recreation for us to do, please contact me at Soul Twin Audios, that's SOLE, over on Twitter. Soul Twin Talk was created by Rachel Polian. The Soul Twin Audios and Tierney's Tales of Terror themes were composed by Ross Bernhardt, with all incidental music from Storyblocks and effects from freesound.org and Gina Moravec. The audio plays, Crush and The Curse Play, are copyrighted by Chris Morgan. This is Rachel Polian, wishing you all good health and happiness.